Good afternoon, Alex. It's Mike Zero, Japan Charlie Fox. The name is Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm about 20 kilometres south from the city of London. Back to you, old man.
All right. Yeah, you're right. I'm an old man, but not too old. That's what we always think. My name is Alex. Alpha Lima Echo X-ray. The QTH is 100 kilometers north of Frankfurt. Thanks very much for coming in. The other station, unfortunately, it was G3VOT, disappeared in the QS Baltimore. Let's see how it works this way here, south of London. I'm running here an Alico transceiver, always say the poor man's equipment. Alico transceiver DXS rate, and that is followed by Yaesu FL2100, that power amplifier, pushing out roughly 450 watts. And the antenna is a dipole antenna, sort of dipole antenna, which is fed with a loudspeaker cable. Right, that's the condition here. The weather here, rainy today still a bit, but the sun is coming out, tries to come out. And the temperature is going up now. We didn't have much of a summer here so far. Mike, back to you. Mike Zero, Juliet Charlie Fox, Delta Lima 1 Alpha Victor Papa.
Yeah, Delta Lima 1 Alpha Victor Papa, Mike Zero, Juliet Charlie Fox coming back to you. Okay, Alex, the old man was just a term of affection, a term of endearment, and I hope you take that in good faith. Yeah, the name this end is Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, as I say, 20 kilometres south from the city of London in the county of Kent, or the province of Kent. I'm sure you know it very well. I was just listening to your other QSOs. You're 5 and 9 plus 10, Alex. 5 and 9 plus 10, and with QS Baker you dropped to 5 and 5, but still very readable on this band. The radio I'm using, Alex, is an old Trio Tango Sierra 520 Sierra, and running about 100 and I'll say about 100 watts today, 100 watts, and the antenna is a long wire. It's 30 meters long, but only about 10 meters above the ground, so it's not very high, but it's a good length of copper wire. And one of the reasons I'm speaking to you today is I now have two shacks at my QTH. I have one in my roof space in the attic, but I make a lot of noise up there, especially in the evenings with my family. So my wife and my daughter's always complaining about the noise. So what I've done is all of my very old radios I've moved into my garage. So this is the first time today, and you are my first contact from my garage in my shack number 2, we'll call it. And I was just testing to make sure that this old radio worked fine on 40 meters. So that's the story this end, Alex. As I say, 5 and 9 plus 10 on the peaks, and with QSB you drop to about 5 and 5, but perfectly readable. Back to you, DL1AVP M0 JCF.
That is the fate of radio amateurs, that the families are pushing them out because either they don't understand radio amateurs, or they don't like them, or they don't want to hear them talking to people in the distance. So it's a sad story, but your equipment is a Trio. I think that's the Kentwood Trio, and it must be quite old now. When I started as a radio amateur in 1965, it was one of the most modern equipment at that time, and I was really envying those radio amateurs who were having already SSB. At that time, most of the amateurs had AM only, but not SSB, and this was one of the first ones that had SSB, and it was of good quality. So I think that's the equipment that you are having. So it doesn't really matter what equipment you have in the end, as long as it's working, as long as the modulation is good. Far more important is really the antenna, in my view. But anyway, I'm running. I first had no power amplifier yet, but I bought one. I think in the middle of last year. last year in July, I got my license back, and then I started to build up a station. I did work. I was QRV as a radio amateur for more than 30 years, maybe even 40 years. My last equipment was an ICOM. At that time it was called UNUN, and it was an IC line, IC 700 T&R, and it had SSB. I bought that one in 1970, but then a couple of years later, I had no chance to put up an antenna where I lived, and later on I moved to Africa for 30 years. Right, that's the situation here. Mike, back to you, George. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Fox, Delta Lima 1, Alpha Victor Papa.
Yeah, Delta Lima 1, Alpha Victor Papa. The name is Markham, Alex, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. Not a problem, though. I don't know who George is. I'm sure he was someone you spoke to recently. It's good to hear that you've got your license back and you're operating again, though, Alex. It's always good to talk to people that have been on amateur radio as long as I've been alive. I was born in 1963, so you got your first license in 1965, the same year that my brother was born, 2 years after me. So yeah, you've been using radio as long as I've been alive almost. And I've been using radio since 1974. I was a shortwave listener, and I used to build radios when I was a schoolboy, and that's how I got into the hobby. But I failed my license way back in the 1970s, and it was only 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, that I got my license. And then I went through the 3 UK licensing systems to get my full license. So it wasn't too difficult for me. I had a good background in telecommunications and electronics, and so it wasn't a problem for me. So that's why I went so quick. But yeah, the family doesn't mind me talking so much. It's just that when I'm in the attic space, I make lots of other noises up there, banging, crashing, you know, those noises. And especially late at night or first thing in the morning, it means that I can't DX on some of the bands. So I decided to keep my modern equipment up there, and then my older equipment that I like to use all of the time, Alex, I like to use my old equipment. I thought I'd bring that down into here, and then I can operate this equipment late at night or early in the morning and catch those DXs on bands that are there at sunrise and, you know, sunset. It's just so much easier, and it's nice to have those many radios. I'm lucky in that much that I've got radios that can cover most of those bands. But this radio is over 40 years old. It's SSB and CW only, but it's a hybrid radio. It's got tube output on the transmit, but everything else is solid state. And of course it's an analog as well. There's no digital readout. So it's all an analog dial, and it takes some use to, but when you get there, it's not a problem, Alex. A DL1AVP M0 JCF.
Yeah, thank you very much for your description. I know that equipment there, so the tubes are still available. Most likely that 6146 or something like that is the final there. I had these tubes as well.
Nice.
And my SSB transceiver, the ICOM, the UNUN, as it was called at that stage. And unfortunately, that equipment was still a lot of the container when I moved to Africa, so I was not able to work as a radio amateur there, even though I would have got easily a license there in Zimbabwe. But without equipment, and then I was anyway too busy, you know, to focus on getting other equipment in. Anyway, the money I didn't have on top of that. So yeah, that's the reason why I wasn't active for many years. But when you work from such a country like Zimbabwe, you know, you have not to wait for your calls. You know, they're coming in their tents. Maybe in the hundreds. All right, that's the situation from here. I have to, unfortunately, to do something else here now. So it's nice to talk to you, and I hope with the time, as time goes by, your family will have more understanding for your hobby, you know. And the sad thing is that radio amateurs have lost their exotic position they had in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. But the internet has taken all the glory away, so to communicate with the operator far away, you know, is nothing that can actually excite anybody who is belonging to the teens and trends, etc. And I have been a shortwave listener as well. Of course, you are first a shortwave listener. For a month or so, I operated my radio activity. The desire was so high, you know, to be heard and also to talk. So a lot of people did the same. Anyway, that's a long time ago. All right, Mark, sorry that I mixed up your name. Mark is your correct name. And of course, I know the area over there.
Well, I don't know where that noise has come from, but it's certainly obliterating his signal. Yeah, Delta Lima 1 Alpha Victor Papa Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrotter returning for a final. You know, just today my wife and I were down near the Margate area. We was at Herne Bay today, and my mum and my sister live very close by to that as well. So it's a very small world, and I hope you get to come to the UK soon, Alex, and see your family here in the UK. But I'm going to wish you now very best 73 also. I have videoed this QSO, and I have a YouTube channel. If you just look for my call sign on YouTube, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, you'll see some of the videos that I've started storing there. I don't use it for money or anything, Alex. It's just a place to store my videos of especially when I'm trying out new things, different transceivers, etc. So I will say again, I wish you very best 73. Alles gut und vielen Dank für das QSO. And auf Wiedersehen, mein Freund. Alles gut and bye bye. I don't know where that noise has come from, but it was a good time to end. Really quite difficult to hear what he's saying there. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Freund. Bye bye.